Oh, it's not too pretty. Okay, we've got to zoom out a bit, do we? Okay, welcome to my nightmare. Here's my latest nightmare. My computer and yet another motherboard that won't work. Spare RAM. And my original motherboard, which I've just replaced that capacitor on. It's not identical in size, it's actually a stronger one, as in high voltage tolerance. And this is pretty well a last-ditched effort because, the clue I got from this one is that smoke came out of it. So, may not use this video ever, but we'll see. Main reason I'm doing it is because I don't particularly trust the, my very rusty soldering, and B, whether that was the entire fault. So what I'm going to do, in case I blow the bottom out of it, sitting here in my typical Queensland pyjamas because it's freezing. There I am freezing. Oh, pyjamas. Doing a thing on my phone here. Alright, let's do it in case. If it's going to blow up, then at least we'll get some comedy out of it. Right, then that is my original board. So we're going to plug the 12 volts into there. This is actually what's known as breadboarding, by the way, which is a handy way of putting a computer together. A little bit difficult with one hand to test it all out. So anyway, okay. Well, here's the old power supply, which turns out it was fine anyway. But since it's one of the many things I've replaced, put this one into the correct socket over here. Okay. Right. Not going to bother even putting a CMOS battery in at the moment. We're just going to kick it over and see what happens. I've got the protective case over the old socket 1155 there. No RAM or anything in at the moment. We'll just see if a light comes on or whether smoke comes out. Oh, I meant to get the fire extinguishers. Oh, my battery's low. Better keep on with it. Okay, right. Oh, let's change things. Plug in the power supply. Yeah. Turn him on. Oh shit, that's right, we've got to bridge it. Okay, which one was that? And this down here should be the jumper to start. Oh, did see a light. Try again. Maybe that was it. It might have been it actually. I don't know, I'll stop and try again. Oh, won't stop. And we're back on. I've put that CMOS battery in. Let's try again. I don't think we're going to get anything from it. Let's bridge that connection. Oh, hello. Get the lights. One set of lights. No smoke so far. Oh, there's the lights again. Right, turn him back off. And plug in a little card. Okay, you know the battery's going to die right when we need it. Got a little test card here. I'm going to plug it in to there. Oh, it's a bit wild. Shit. A bit hard with one hand too. I'm going to plug him in there. See if we get a code. There, it's on. Let's see what code we get when we jump it. Just 00. Is it going to repeat? Is it getting hot, by the way? It's 00. Turn him off. We'll track it down a bit further. To be returned. To be continued. I don't really know why I'm going to bother because I know the battery's going to die. Okay, here's the board we were just talking about. Here's one of the spare boards. I'm going to unclip tight and take off this fan. Oh, goodness me. All four of them. Doing it a bit rough and ready at the moment. Okay, take them off, pull the pins out. Really should do this properly for a thing, but all I wanted to see was if it went bang. It's going to capture it. Just read I'll have to make a video. Okay, hang on. Well, okay, we're going to do this actually the way I'd never normally do it, and that's without gloves because the thing's about to die. So I'm just going to pull, ouch, I'm going to pull off this protective thing. Don't do this at home. Here's the CPU, and this one is an i7. Right, that's it by the way. Oh shit, I can't use that. I'm going to have to stop it, I've got garbage underneath it. Well, I think I can see from here, it looks like the pins are damaged. Maybe wrong. Anyway, don't do this ever at home. I know people do it all the time. This is way against my better judgment. Unless they've changed what it's made out of. That heatsink compound, that ugly shit on the top, is made out of beryllium oxide, which is well, cancerous. Anyway, gonna wash it all off real quick. Certainly wasn't planning to do this, or else I would have done it properly. Just want to see if it'll kick. Okay, so plug things back in and have a look. Okay, welcome to my nightmare. This is my computer. It's caused me no end of problems lately. Anyway, I think I finally sorted it out. The problem was motherboard and CPU. What I'm quickly going to do, although it's not a very scientific test, is just show you the, if I can, not real good. Bought a Antec 650 gold edge for the computer, falsely thinking it was a power supply problem, and it wasn't. So just wanted to quickly say before I put the computer back together, it's a very impressive power supply, very impressive, dead quiet. I'll kick it up just to show you. I've actually going to have to do this to start it because my speaker's buggered. So now you're going to get the fans from graphics card, and that one I just temporarily put. But the actual power supply is dead quiet, has an LED, which you can't see, and that sort of brings me to half the reason I'm posting the vlog. The old power supply, which turns out still going after 6 years, was an OCZ modular as well. But you'll notice the fan, if you were to put it this way, that's the right way up, not that it matters. So the fan was actually in this tower, full tower, pointing downwards this way. Whereas this one is not. This is clearly designed to go with the modern trends of being mounted on the bottom of the case. So you see, it's quite pretty. It works. The only difference is the breeze is now up here versus down here. I'll shut it down because this is the noisy culprit, and that's being replaced too. I'll just bridge that to shut it there. But anyway, yeah, so that's the downside of it. One of the downsides of the Antec. I bought Antec because they're very, very good quality. So that's a downside, if you want to call it that. It faces the wrong way. And you can't see the pretty blue LED, which you can also turn off down there. It's a modular power supply, which is as it should be these days. So everything plugs in like that. Not very well lit, just doing this on my Samsung Galaxy S4 phone. And the reason I'm doing that primarily is haven't been able to edit because I'm not using my normal camera. So the other downside is that, okay, they're all great, but has a bit of a ambiguous layout. Like the main motherboard connectors are marked. These down here, if you can see them, that's just a line of 12 volt sockets, which you can plug whatever you want in with these Molex plugs. But it doesn't actually say which goes where, so I assume that you're fine so long as you plug them next to each other. Just a slight improvement I think they could have done. And visually on the downside, whilst it has this very nice braided black cable for the main motherboard supply, the rest of the cables, and they actually market this as a bonus, a flat black ribbon. You know, which is fine if you just have a look at your computer. Personally, I preferred what the OCZ power supply came with. That was these lovely individual braided cables, nicely marked. So it's a minor thing. I just preferred the look of them. Having said that, it's a computer, so you be the judge. So that's primarily what I wanted to do before I put it all back together properly and away from sight, is just point out that on the plus side, the Antec 650 Gold is an extremely nice power supply, guaranteed to be a consistent 650 watts continuous. Yeah, it wasn't that cheap, but anyway, I didn't buy it for that reason. I also future-proof the computer because I'll probably upgrade because I've had to change the CPU on this now defunct 1155 socket motherboard. But having said that, I now know at least that the OCZ 700 watt supply, which is now obsolete as well, I think they have 1,000 or something, still going good. As I said, bought in error, modular. So if they still make those the way they made that, it's no problem. Wish me luck with the build, and hopefully next video will actually be shot and edited on something a little bit more suitable. Thanks a lot for joining me. Hope this helps. If you have any questions about anything I've mentioned here, feel free to drop me a line. Thank you. Bye. It's Liv's first power on of the new computer. Please click like and subscribe below.